This is not a drill. The absolute unthinkable has happened. According to Deadline, this is breaking stuff. According to Deadline, Sony has kicked out Kevin Feige from creative control of the Spider-Man character. It's over for Das Spider-Man over at Marvel Studios, according to Deadline. As I said, this stuff is just coming in. I wanted to break it down for you guys. We'll get into Q&A. We'll talk about all this. But you got to know here, I'm just learning about this myself. I literally just got done editing a video, Marvel's Avengers video, and this literally broke. I couldn't believe it. I saw some tweets, and in a fury, I literally looked at a ton of different things to see what people were talking about, what's going on. If you're just joining us, according to Deadline, Sony has done the unthinkable, the absolute unthinkable, and they have taken back the Spider-Man character completely out of Kevin Feige's control. Now, we're going to get into some of this stuff. I'm sure everybody has questions. More and more stuff will come out in the next couple of hours as more and more insiders talk about this. And then we'll, of course, cover this on tomorrow's show. But I wanted to go live with you guys and so that we can talk about this together. We can sort of just go. It's unbelievable. But apparently it's true, guys. Yeah, so... Okay, so according to Deadline, and this is what I saw. I saw Scott Mendelson say something like this. A lot of different insiders have probably heard about things that are going on behind the scenes and talked about it. From what I heard, Disney was getting a little bit greedy, go figure, and applying some pressure in this deal. And what happened was Sony decided that despite the movie making the biggest movie that Sony's ever done is the MCU movie. You know what I mean? Despite that happening, they wanted to get all of the money back. So essentially, that apparently is a big reason that this happened. Okay. Got a couple of super chats coming in here. Chris Lindsay says, I bet we will still get the $1 billion movie. I can't see Sony using Tom Holland without any reference to his past. Sony will never get a dime from me again, says the DC big Osoya. So this is wildly interesting stuff here. I have no idea what this exactly means for the MCU or Sony, but what they are saying, what people are reporting right now, what I read, was that no, there are going to be more Tom Holland Spider-Mans. That the plan is to have John Watts and Tom Holland still doing Spider-Man movies, and the only difference is that Kevin Feige is now pushed out. Kevin Feige will no longer have that kind of control, the control that he had before, because and this is just, all of this is breaking. This is kind of stuff that we're all going to have to figure out together in the next couple of hours here. But yeah, that's what they're saying, that essentially Sony just decided that, hey, you're pushing for this, you're pushing for that. I mean, we know that Feige, wanted Norman Osborn. We know that Feige wanted certain things, and he's very stringent. The one thing about Kevin Feige, we obviously love him, but he's very particular with the way that he produces these movies. He's very particular it's very restrictive. Like, you can just go on down the line with the different aspects of what it's like for Feige to produce these films. Now, the flip side, and what most people would say, and by the way, guys, if you could smash like on this stream, oh my God, it would help me in the very, very least get over some of this craziness, because it's ridiculous. But yeah, if you could smash like on the stream, that would be awesome. But what... I can't believe it. Let me take a sip of this drink. This is unbelievable. What a day. What a day. There was already crazy Marvel stuff going on. And I got to say, too, the timing on this is pretty ridiculous. They're going into D23, right? And we even speculated yesterday. I speculated on yesterday's show that wouldn't it be crazy if we got this finalization of the Spider-Man thing where Feige comes out at D23 and is like, hey, we got another contract figured out with Marvel. Woo, here we go. Here we go, baby. And instead, it's like the exact opposite of that. That really does hurt the MCU because they were really positioning, all of the things that people were saying about how important Spider-Man was to Kevin Feige is 100% serious. Like when you watch Kevin Feige in interviews talk about Spider-Man, he's like he's the most popular Marvel character of all time. This is the biggest deal ever. And it really did look particularly with the way that Iron Man and Peter had their relationship in the MCU. That Iron Man was almost a Kevin Feige, a Big Ben, Uncle Ben. I can't even think. I can't believe this happened. But particularly with the fact that Iron Man was the father or the Uncle Ben figure for this version of Spider-Man, it really did seem like everything was lining up for Spider-Man to sort of shoulder the MCU moving forward, that he would be our deepest connection to to the future of the MCU, the deepest connection between the new MCU, Phase 4 and beyond, and what came before with Iron Man. I mean, it's just crazy how much oh my God. It's just crazy how much that mattered, obviously, to them. And this really does hurt the MCU. And make no mistake, I think this changes a lot of things. I think Feige was prepared for this to happen, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this was very surprising for him, and they're going to have to make some changes now because they need more connections to the old. They need more nostalgia. Like they need to heavily it's so strange to me how good it is now that you get Hemsworth back for Thor 4. And I know not everybody's crazy about Love and Thunder, but we need that character. Like we need Thor now more than ever to sort of bridge between the new and the old with that. But let's talk about this freaking Spider-Man movie. What is this next Spider-Man movie going to be like? You know what I mean? Like what is this going to look like now? Are we just going to ignore? Because it's hard to say whether or not now Marvel, in retaliation to this, isn't going to seriously put up like a bunch of different walls and blocks for Sony for when they want to do the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. I mean, on the one hand, it would be dope for them to bring Venom in and have Venom and Tom Holland. And now, guys, I'm really thinking back to that Amy Pascal interview. Where she's talking about how they're building up a world for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. She's talking about how their plans, and it's so weird to me because it is so obvious that being connected to the MCU was the biggest thing that helped this Spider-Man movie and the last Spider-Man movie do so well. And it's just crazy to me. You know, I'm still trying to process it, right? But I think right now the thing that really upsets me the most is that there's probably a lot of different things going on. There's multiple things going on here. So maybe Disney was getting greedy. It's possible, particularly after how good this movie came, this Spider-Man Far From Home movie did, that Disney was like, yo, Sony, I'm sorry, you're really going to need to do a couple things for us if you want us to be, to continue this. And I can see how from Disney and Marvel's perspective, they have a lot of leverage. They would assume that they'd have a lot of leverage. And here's what's crazy. Logically, yeah, you would think they would have a lot of leverage because of the obvious connection to the MCU and how much value that added to their Spider-Man character. But then again, if you are from the other side, if you're Sony and you just watched your Venom movie make almost $1 billion, you watched Into the Spider-Verse, win an Oscar and also make $400 million. That movie should have made way more. I'm sure it's crushing it in DVD sales and Blu-ray and digital and all that. But I can see from Sony's perspective where they might be like, we don't really want to dance with the Disney devil anymore. And oh God, there's so many levels. I think as a Marvel fan, I'm just super bummed. Like I'm just plainly super bummed. Like I don't know who's to blame. We'll obviously have to, follow this story as it continues. But damn, guys, damn. Let's see here. Go talk to your local Army recruiter. Kevin Brown with the super chat comes in and says, Sony obligated to finish current contract with Marvel, correct? How many movies is left? Okay, so this is a good question, Kevin, and thank you so much for that question, brother. I've always said that when you hear about this contract, it's confusing because I've heard 5 movies, I've heard 6 movies, I've heard Tom Holland say 6, I've heard them say 5 movies. I was like, what the hell's going on? I believe, and this is what I've always understood, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right because, again, to me it's very confusing. But what I have always reported is that it is a 6-movie contract with a 5-movie stop. After 5 movies, there's a renegotiation period. After 5 movies, they're going back to the drawing board. They're going back to the drawing board and figuring out what to do next. Now, I had always assumed, and when we heard about the Sony Marvel contract, right, there was this idea, which, by the way, like this story now gets thrown into question, but there was this idea that if Spider-Man Far From Home did not make $1 billion, then the rights for the 3rd Tom Holland Spider-Man were going to revert back to Sony, right? But that didn't exactly happen, right? Because it did make over $1 billion. So what's the deal? What's going on here? Is this still technically a 3rd MCU Spider-Man movie that Feige will have very little control over? What? Maybe. I don't really know what to tell you when it comes to that. Like I said, this is breaking for all of us here. Can we please, guys, I mean, look, I know there's a lot of people in here right now. This is crazy breaking news. Can we get some Fs in the chat for the Sony Marvel arrangement? Because holy crap. What a freaking day. What a freaking day, and what a crazy-ass thing to happen. I'm honestly still in shock. I'm actually hoping that it's not true. I would love to be the guy that accidentally did this live stream. Thank you for that, chat. I would love to be the guy that was like, oh man, I did this chat. I got really worked up. It was this crazy thing. It ended up not being true. That would be awesome. I'd love to be wrong in this scenario. But I doubt I am. I think it's real, man. I think it's real. Guys, feel free to drop some questions in the chat. I'm only going to go for like 20 more minutes here. This is just insane, and I had to hop on live and just talk about this with you guys. I really look. That's the report out there, according to Variety. Like I said before, according to like what I saw on Twitter, I saw Scott Mendelson talk about. Let's just go to the Twitterverse right now. I honestly, yeah, we're getting blown up on Twitter right now too. Can someone do me a favor and share this stream on Twitter and tag the Den of Nerds, please? That would be awesome because I just can't right now. Wow, yeah, this is very bizarre. So let's see if there's any more insight here on the Twitterverse. Oh my goodness! And you know what's crazy too? This is actually. I don't know if this is obviously connected, but did you guys hear that yesterday Sony bought Insomniac Games? So here's another thing. Let's go to Speculation Town for a second here, everybody. We obviously cover video games as well. So there's the Den of Nerds gaming channel. I recommend everybody go check that out. I literally just dropped a video on Marvel's The Avengers game and what's going on in Gamescom. It's actually really cool. It looks awesome. But yesterday it came out that Sony bought Insomniac. Now, Insomniac is a developer that was, they did a lot of Sony games, a lot of exclusives for Sony. But they'd recently been branching out. They've done some stuff with Xbox, some mobile stuff, I think, too. They're the guys that made Spider-Man for the PS4. Now, the big rumor out there in the gaming world was that they were starting to build an MCU, with Marvel games. And that Marvel's The Avengers could potentially cross over with the PS4 Spider-Man. And then yesterday, Sony buys Insomniac, essentially crushing that hope, right? And I was thinking to myself yesterday, I was like, yo, that's really weird, considering that all signs point to Marvel and Sony having a much better relationship when it comes to movies. I had thought, as many of you had thought, that things were gravy, things were good, because Far From Home is the biggest Sony movie of all time. I thought that meant something. I thought, we're good. Tom Holland and everybody, it's going to be okay. we're going to have Tom Holland for the next 30 years with this arrangement. But apparently, no. All right, so let's get into a couple more super chats here. Kevin Brown. So let's see here. By the end of this contract, the rest of these movies produced by Marvel, the MCU, will have set up Miles Morales to continue on the MCU. Can they? I don't think so, brother. I don't think they can. I don't think they can do anything Sony anymore. I think basically the contract, and this is why it really bones Marvel, in my opinion. I think what's going to happen is everything that they've shared before, like anything that's technically owned by Sony as far as the license is concerned, anything that's owned by Sony because of the licensing is now off limits in any other future movie. That's as far as referencing it, showing an image of it, having it actually be in the movie. And so there will be a lot of threads and things within the Spider-Man movies that will now completely disappear inorganically from the MCU. I think I'm pretty damn sure that's how it's going to work, and that's going to be really frustrating. Let's see here. Steve with the super chat. Do you think Sony will just have a villain bonanza in Spider-Man 3 to try to cash in Venom plus the Sinister Six plus introduce Miles? Oh, God. You're giving me flashbacks to Spider-Man 3 with, the Venom and Sandman thing. And, I mean, it's possible, dude. Look, at this point, look, I'm just saying this. I can't go to bat for Sony in this situation. I'm not saying it's completely their fault. It could very well be Disney's fault. But here's the thing. It seems ridiculous for them to make this move. And I can't help but think that it's a really short-sighted, greedy, driven decision, probably on both sides, as people are pointing out in the chat. But what kind of faith? Like, how does that give you faith? How can that give you faith in what Sony's going to go on and do with this movie? I like Venom. Venom ain't close to even the worst MCU movie. I'm going to say that again. I like the Venom movie. It's a fun time. It's a throwback. It feels like a Shane Black 90s action movie. It's not even close to the worst MCU movie, which I don't even know what the worst MCU movie is. But I just, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. I'm sorry. Let's get into this. But yeah, so I wanted to make that point about the video game thing, too. Do you guys think that's connected? Let me know in chat. Wow. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. I honestly, there's a lot of people. Wow. So Charlie from Emergency Awesome is saying that short-term, Sony will be making Spider-Man 3 by themselves. Marvel has a few years to get him back before the next Avengers movie in Phase 5. So basically saying that there's a chance they could figure that. I see a lot of people online joking about how Marvel will just buy Sony at this point. Guys, I don't know about that. Like, I really don't think that's going down. But particularly because if you look, and we still have a lot to figure out with that Fox deal, but ain't looking too hot right now for the Disney shareholders when it comes to that Fox purchasing. Right now, the Disney shareholders are like, yo, you said you were going to buy this Fox stuff and it was going to make us more money. Where's the more money? We're actually losing money. This is terrible. So I think they may be reluctant, especially right now, to just turn around and buy Sony. I don't know about that. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Elliot. I appreciate that. Peacenik says, doesn't Marvel hold the TV rights? There was something about that. I don't think they own the TV rights. I think they own like some kind of distribution or maybe merchandising from the TV stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that they own the TV rights exactly. I know that they do a lot of those animated stuff, but isn't like Sony involved with that as well? I gotta be honest, I'm not sure. If you guys are new to the channel, you've never heard my voice before or seen my face, we cover pop culture, particularly with Marvel and Star Wars and big things like that, literally every day. I have a news show called the Nerdy News Rundown, which will come out tomorrow, and we're talking about this tomorrow as well. I'll get into all the details. Like, I'll do some big-time research tonight. So if you want the full breakdown, make sure you subscribe so you can get that tomorrow. I can't believe it, guys. What even is life right now? You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. I was having a pretty good week. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so, whoa, here's something interesting. Daniel Richtman. I don't know if you guys know who this is. It's that Daniel RPK dude. He's a notorious, like, Marvel leaker guy. But he says, hold it. Hope's not lost yet. It's not over for Spider-Man. There's still a chance. ominous. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but take that for what you will. That guy does have an inside track on some stuff. I see a lot of articles already popping up, guys, saying that Spider-Man will never be in the MCU again. I mean, what a guys. Oh my God. You know what I just realized? How's this gonna work now at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home? The whole world thinks Spider-Man's a villain. Were we just gonna ignore that now? That's completely gone? Like, what? Or does Sony now get to do that? Or does Sony ignore that? Like, what? This is not good. This is not the right timeline. I thought we were in the good timeline here. Oh my God, boycott Sony is now trending. That's hilarious. Good job, Sony. Well done. Well done. Guys, I'm only going for 10 more minutes. I got to get out of here. Please, if you got any more questions, drop them in with a super chat. It's just the chat's too crazy right now. I'm not going to be able to get to anything except a super chat. Maverick Pilgrim, thank you for the super chat. I saw your other one too, brother. I don't think it's a negotiating thing. What if this is setting up a surprise crossover? Maybe. Seems like Sony's just trying to undercut Marvel before D23 and maybe undercut Disney in general. I don't know, man. I really don't know what to think. A lot. Oh my God, yeah. So this is Jeremy Conrad. He says, I feel sorry for whoever is writing Spider-Man 3 and 4. They have to write with both hands tied behind their back since they have to ignore everything about Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the last 5 movies he was in. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? How does that even make sense? I mean, I guess it's good that they... Look, I don't even know. Maybe they'll attach him to the Venom universe. They'll just stick him in the Venom universe. It won't freaking matter. We all will go see that movie, by the way. We will go see that movie with Tom Holland and Tom Hardy and Venom. Despite all the vitriol that we will have for Sony, we will go check that movie out. Don't lie. Don't lie to me, chat. I know you're acting tough right now. I'm upset as well, but don't lie to me. I know you're going to go see it. I really want to see how Feige responds. We got to see how Feige's going to respond to this. Uh-oh. A lot of hate. People are saying no way. I love it. I love the energy, guys. I like it. I'm not going to see it either. Freaking Sony. This is unbelievable. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for showing up to this impromptu live stream for the Den of Nerds. Yeah, please like this video before you get the H out of here. And if you want the full breakdown, come back for the show tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm literally going to go have a drink. All right, guys. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, but I know you're not because this sucks. But I will see you in the next video.